Wendell, I've been looking forward to this.
Me too, man.
Wendell is the director of content for EAN, also helps my firm Legacy. He's also the newest member of the team, and I wanted to get you in a room and get some live feedback from you on how do you experience me? What has it been like to join the team? And plus, we've already in a short period of time shared some really cool experiences, and I trust you. I love your feedback. And so we're going to have a conversation today. He's going to ask me a lot of direct questions, and hopefully we can just unpack some deeper parts of working together on a team, your superpowers, and even just what I've learned and incorporated within Legacy and EAN this year to help the audience, because we get a lot of questions about this stuff. And so I felt like, hey, let's do a Q&A episode and unpack it.
Let's go. This is so fun. Sten, it's been a joy to work with you. I've worked with a lot of very interesting personalities over the years, and a lot of people that, kind of put on a front, right? I mean, we all have masks to a certain degree, but it is refreshing to work with someone that is very confident in who they are, and is also very, you're very open to other perspectives. You're open to questions. You're open to ideas. You're willing to have the conversation. It's refreshing. Everyone has a level of, madness to them. All right. And so there's a difference between crazy and healthy crazy. Okay. and so we're all human. We all have eccentricities. I think that you come with an awareness, and you've been very vocal about that in our conversations. It's refreshing. It really is.
What was the experience like from the very beginning?
Yeah.
You've lived life working a lot of cool background from people you've worked with and projects you've worked on. Feedback I've received in the past from people that just experienced me right away was like, it's too intense. It's a little too direct.
Yeah.
And I'm not an Enneagram expert, but like an 8. I had somebody the other day say something when they were telling a story about Enneagrams. Like, imagine if you had like a bunch of snow on the street, and your goal was to get the snow cleared off the road. And all Enneagrams might approach it differently. An 8 would essentially clear the street as quick as possible with a snowblower, and none of the cars would have mirrors left on the side. Like, they would get the job done with passion and energy, but they maybe didn't plan it out as much up front. And so I'm curious, with your background, there were some times where we had some friction in some early conversations, and I think that was us like feeling each other out.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the feedback of where we've landed.
Yeah.
But if you can give me kind of a peek on like, here's what I felt, here's what I had to process, and here's where I ended up.
Yeah, seriously. Because I mean, I realized I came in hot, and sometimes, I mean, my wife calls me out on this all the time. She's like, man, just so you know, you're coming in hot. Like, if you think that other people are being intense, if you think that Sten was intense, look in the mirror for a moment, right? I remember coming home after one particular meeting, and I even said to my wife, I was like, man, we got into it, and Sten was asking you were asking very direct questions. I think you were, in one particular meeting, you were actually out for a couple of weeks because you just got married. Right. And so I'm there at the office with the team, and we're putting out content and we're doing stuff. And of course, reentry is always an interesting thing. And so we're in a meeting and we're having this conversation. All of a sudden it started taking a turn, and you were like, hey, so why, like, if you're saying that this is something that matters to you, but why haven't you been doing anything about it? I was like, okay. All right.
Yes.
I mean, I'm feeling the flavor right now. I mean, this is rich. And so it was like, oh, well, I think that some things have shifted a little bit. And you're like, well, let's talk about that. I was like, okay, let's talk about that. Right. And so we had to, I think, so in a moment like that, right, where you're sensing friction, you have a choice. You can go for the exit. You could be like, well, this makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't feel comfortable with this scenario here. So I'm going to leave. You could be really passive aggressive about it. there's a number of different ways that you can approach it.
You could have felt misunderstood, underappreciated.
Yeah.
Look at everything I have been doing.
I mean,
that stuff might have come into your mind.
In my mind, I was like, wow, I mean, bro, you haven't been here. Sure. You know, you've been in Italy, or, you know, you got married. You've been having a great time. We've been here like working. And you know, it was like, wait, I had to catch myself, because it was like, I don't have to prove anything here. This wasn't a court of law. You're not asking for evidence. Sure. You were like, show me the proof here. You were just wanting to understand, because there was a gap.
Sure.
Right. And so we have to, when I was just in a conversation recently with a friend and colleague, and we were talking about, how do you handle disagreements? Well, you got to put trust in the gap. Well, how do you put trust in the gap? I mean, that requires kind of letting go of something. Ego, pride. Like, I'm gonna show this Sten that, like, I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna, respond with some sort of rebuttal. But it's like, why debate? You weren't looking to debate.
Yeah.
You were asking questions. So I have to check myself, and I learned very quickly, like, when we're engaging and when you're asking those questions, you're not trying to disrupt to land on I gotcha. You weren't trying to catch me. There wasn't a trap.
Yeah.
But I have had a long history of working with very unhealthy people that in situations like that, I would leave and go, wow, I was just gaslit. Okay. You weren't gaslighting. You were asking really good questions. And so I think
you had to be aware enough to say,
yeah,
my past experiences are causing me to lean this way.
That's right.
I have to defend myself. I'm trying to, I might get trapped here. I'm thankful. And I think one thing I've learned is there's adult professionals that have seen some stuff and kind of settled into who they are. And there's a confidence there. I think they're able to be curious, less defensive. And so as a leader, I struggle at times with, I think at a certain tier of person within my company, I need to be able to have these kind of conversations. But I don't expect to be able to have that kind of conversation with everyone. That there's some people on my team that I need to coach to that.
Yeah.
And I think as I look back, and this is, some lessons I've been learning over the last few years when it comes to leadership, because in our business as advisors, usually you start just saying, I need to sell stuff to make money. And then you happen upon like, oh, I'm a leader. I'm an entrepreneur. Like, I didn't even know I was going to step into that role, but I have to be. We then have to decide, like, am I going to fully step into that role, or am I going to kind of be 1 foot in, 1 foot out, resistant, like sprinkle on some leadership and organizational development, but really just meet with clients and try to make money for myself? I feel called to that. I want to be that, but there's also an awareness that I've been realizing from feedback from others and just trial and error for myself, that for some reason I'm the high challenge, high support leader. I'm not maybe the leader that's going to like take you out to lunch 3 days a week and become your best friend, and sometimes those leaders are like more fun to work with.
Yeah.
And feedback I've got from almost everyone that's worked with me, even if they couldn't handle the heat, even if I think they were like, this is a too intense of a work environment, I don't want to be pushed this much, is I've accomplished more than I ever thought I could have by working with you. And I'm like, well, that's great. It would be nice not to have to keep retraining people though, and so it's like, how do I learn over time to recognize the person that can sit in it? That the discomfort of we're not here just for our own personal income and then to coast. Like, we're really trying to push change and innovate, which means you're almost in a constant state of discomfort. I need to realize that everyone's tolerance for discomfort is different. And if I'm pulling the wrong people into conversations where we're always pushing, some people are like, that's too much. There's too much risk in this conversation. It feels like every time we succeed in something, we're changing it all the time. And so as an innovator or a leader, I enjoy ideas. I enjoy the risk. And most of the companies need that. They need that from somebody, but they also need other personalities. They need people that are steady and operationally focused. They need creatives. I love the way your mind works, because my mind does not work. Some of the videos you've made for us, I'm just like, I just wouldn't have known where to start to create that. And so So I think it's appreciating people's giftings, but the core of it being like, are these mature professionals that have done work so that they can sit in the discomfort? Because how many leaders, for everyone listening right now, that you've left for a week or two on vacation and you read a couple books and you come back just like, hey guys, we're changing everything.
Yep.
And the team's like, what are you talking about? Like, we don't want you to go on vacation anymore, because every time you do, you come back with like all these ideas and not a lot of questions. And so I want to have the awareness not to do that.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to stifle the edge that's needed. So with all of that, what comes up in you when I unpack that?
Oh man, I'm going back to, when you were out for a little bit and just that kind of reentry, right? I think as leaders, we all have to have an awareness of, we have to be able to ask this question of ourselves. What is it like to be on the other side of me? Right. Grateful for Jeremy Kubicek, right. And the work that he has done with Giant and teaching the voices and really helping people know themselves to be able to lead themselves well. And so, Enneagram, you were talking about a little bit ago, you're talking about being an 8. I mean, I'm very much a 3. It's all about the performance. It's all about, and with that, it's about achieving. But I very much lean into performance. I want to put on a really good show, right? Kind of a Willy Wonka, Ted Lasso,
Nice.
personality a little bit, of just like wanting to, I do care about what other people think about me. I very much do. I care about how, it matters to me a great deal that you think I'm actually doing a good job.
Got it.
That matters.
Yep.
Okay. I also believe that it matters to be able to communicate that and to share that. And I think that we have to put trust in the gap and recognize that it's okay if you work with somebody that's not always going out of their way to be like, hey, I just really appreciate everything you're doing. Yeah. And so you don't have to do that. Sure. Like, not everyone has to have really good bedside manner to save somebody's life. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we love that. We want to feel good. Okay. But also, doesn't it feel good to jump in with somebody and actually do the work and build something that you both stand back and go, wow, we actually built this.
Yeah.
And
I think that requires friction. I think that requires disagreement. And I think as I've sat in rooms, there's some element of, I enjoy a good debate. Yeah. But not everybody does. And I've also learned when I was a young advisor with a lot of time on my hands, with no kids, not married, and I was studying, and I was like, hey guys, it's easy. Just do all this.
Right.
And then I got older and I realized, like, no, most of us are really busy. Like, life is complicated.
Yeah.
For our teams, both of them, at any given point in time, somebody's struggling with something and may not be bringing their A game. What does it look like to have a work environment that encourages yet is always calling people higher, that doesn't feel like it's never good enough? And
wow,
I'm trying to find a balance of like, if my natural tendency, this is Jeremy Kubicek, I loved his line about you don't want to be the asthmatic Sherpa. So like you need to be an in-shape Sherpa to lead people well. But he also talked about managing to your tendencies. And I'm working on this since he challenged me on the podcast we did together of like, it's one thing to know yourself. Yeah. And I'm, Lord's really put me in a lot of positions in the last 5 years to like have to say, I'm going to sit in this, own my stuff, or avoid it and kind of run away and say it's the world's the problem. As long as if everyone around me could do these things, then everything would be fine.
Right.
As opposed to, there's no way I'm going to get that from everybody all the time. How can I operate more healthy with the reality of just the way the world is? I think it's another thing to create frameworks and systems to manage your tendencies. Like I have an awareness of myself now. Now, what can I do to handle conversations differently with people? Understand how I could come across. When I go on vacation, maybe it's 2 days after I get back that you share ideas as opposed to, hitting everybody with emails the night before. But I also struggle with, I also don't want to like overmanage people. Yeah. Like I think as a leader, if I feel like people are high maintenance, Like something's always wrong. They're always asking for more. It's like, at what point do I want to have a high tolerance for that because I want to lead and encourage, inspire people? And then at what point is it like, it's just too much? It's just distracting from everything. So I'm curious from your position, experience, like how would you handle, or how have you handled it in your life where it's like, I want to show up for people. I want to be a leader that creates trust and has people's back. I want people to feel like, hey man, I didn't bring my best for a couple months because life was hard, but like the team didn't give up on me. And then as a leader being like, this person is starting to become a distraction. They require too much coaching, too much maintenance.
Ooh. Yeah. The more you work with people and the more you work with really unhealthy people, it really helps give you a solid vetting process because if you only work with really, really good people, boy, it only takes one unhealthy person to absolutely destroy all this work that you've done. So I'm grateful that I actually I am learning how to thank the Lord for working with really unhealthy people because it has revealed to me truths about myself and about humanity.
Sure.
And about what it takes to actually build something that is successful. I've learned so much about team dynamics that way. And so it is important for us to work on ourselves. And just because a leader doesn't get it right isn't a pass on us doing the right thing. Okay. Yeah. You have you're working with somebody that didn't handle it well in a meeting. Okay. So then that means you get to go into the back room with all the other employees and talk crap about them. Yeah. Like that's okay to do. Right. So we have to because
I do feel the pressure. Like I need to make sure I'm on point all the time.
Yeah.
And I want to be.
Yeah.
But I can't.
Yeah.
And so there was a time, as I was having some really hard stuff in life to where I didn't fully show it. There was probably somewhat of a shell of like, I'm going through the motions, I'm showing up for clients, but like as a leader, I was not positive most days. I wasn't inspiring, and what was tough about that season is that it exposed, everybody was like, hey, Sten, as long as you're doing X, Y, and Z, which makes my life easier. And like,
yeah,
it doesn't feel good, I think, if people are looking for reasons to bail or point out fault. And I think one of our core values at Legacy is stay in the arena. Yeah. And that's an amazing poem that I read often. That's like, there are people that will sit in the stands and judge.
Yeah.
And then there's people who are like, hey, let's get in this and let's figure this thing out. Like I need to work with problem solvers, not problem pointer outers. I'm just like, okay, so what are you doing for that? And so, and then I do think there's the reality of as your teams get bigger, like you want A players, but it's at times you might have to have B players that you help grow into A players. Like there's a responsibility to leading people that is pressure, does bring drama. I've heard people say before, if I didn't have to deal with employees or clients, like my life would be great.
That's right.
And it's like, okay, let's just accept you're going to deal with people.
Yep.
And how are you doing that well, given your own personal story? That like I've learned about myself, like my natural tendency is like skepticism. Like I need proof. Growing up, if anybody ever said words to me, they didn't land. I need like the actions or what mattered to me because I experienced too many people that said something and did something different.
Yeah.
And so from a young age, all of a sudden I've realized that like, no, my natural instinct is to like, I appreciate the words, but like they're not carrying the weight until the actions support the words. And then I'll believe the words. And in the context of business, that's like, you're always a little bit on guard.
Yeah.
Versus I've experienced some leaders where it feels like, man, they're just all in all the time. Or they just have shorter memories than me, or like, what is their story that like, it just seems easier.
As you're talking, I was thinking about, it's the Ralph Waldo Emerson quote, "What you are is so loud, I can barely hear what you say." And so our actions do speak louder than words. And so what's fascinating is with communication, right? If we just do a quick study on that, the majority of communication, the way we understand it, relate to it, experience it, is nonverbal. That's communication. Most of it is nonverbal. I think it's only 7% of communication are the words.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that for you, it wouldn't land because you accomplished only 7% of communication. So, a word to everyone listening right now, if you are a little bit frustrated with working with your team because they're remote, it's probably because you're not actually communicating. You have to go above and beyond if you're working with people remote. It's always, a little bit easier when we're in person, which I have to say, I mean, it has been really refreshing, but it also has been something that I've needed to get used to, this new normal of like being in the office more. I am an in-person person. I recognize that. So I've loved that, but I'm also still getting acclimated to going to the same place, because the last time I had to do this was when I was working in television and I had panic attacks every day.
Wow.
Having to go to the office and talking to myself to like let go of the steering wheel, get out of the car and walk into the office because the environment was toxic.
Got it.
And it was in that environment where people were getting gaslit every day. We were working with narcissistic, egomaniac creatives that thought that they ran the world. I mean, television is a fascinating case study in humanity, ? And so, I have to make sure that I'm being a healthy person when I'm in an environment, and to make sure that I'm like allowing that I'm giving other members of the team space and margin to actually be you. Because wouldn't I want that grace? Like, extend the grace that you want to experience on the other side, right? Yeah. But I
mean, there's something about human nature, I can't remember what they call it, where it is we constantly give ourselves the benefit of the doubt. Like, we're always excusing ourselves for something. It's like, well, that's I did that because of this.
Yeah.
Yet most of the time, we're not giving that same grace to other people. Like, we judge them harshly.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember after reading that, I was like, I think I'm doing that. Hopefully not to an extreme, but I do think when I probably misinterpret other people's actions. And that's why another one of our core values is curiosity, which is like the leading with questions did not come naturally to me. Versus sitting down and explain this to me. Why did we do it this way? We talked about this, but this happened. Help me understand that. And I do think it requires practice because it is easier to take the story you've written in your head that you probably took a lot of liberties with and let it run. And I think the dangerous part of that is not that story can't be undone with some fact. It's, I think, the emotion you feel when the story's happening in your head. And that's really real. And I think for me, that can trigger like mistrust, frustration. And I'm like, I don't even know how much of this is true. And I've experienced that on the other side of the table where I've sat with people on my team or others, or even advisors I coach. And I'm like, there's a lot going on here. As opposed to trying to fix it or, defend something that's happening. I'm like, can you explain where that energy is coming from? Because this seems pretty intense and deep. And so I think that's helped me a lot in conversations and interactions. But also at the end of the day, sometimes I'm like, I just want to get stuff done. I just want to help more people. And I don't want to overdiagnose. I remember talking to a counselor one time and they're like, you don't want to try to find black cats. And I was like, what do you mean? Well, you don't want to go to counseling and just try to find stuff that's not there for the sake of finding it.
Yeah.
And so I think there's some element of like, I just want to be effective and go out in the world and do my thing. And, I think the grace from others would allow us to do that. Versus if you're watching or listening to this and you feel like you have to be so on point or you're constantly fixing yourself because the environment around you seems to just constantly disapprove, I think it's okay, or there's some element of like your environment might need to change. Like, you can't always be the problem, maybe sometimes, maybe half the time, but like if you feel like it's 100% my issue or something I need to fix in order for an outcome, there's probably some other variables in that environment that need to change also. Is that fair?
I think that's so fair. The two things that come to mind, right? So Horst Schulze, one of my heroes, he created this hotel called the Ritz-Carlton. Are you familiar?
Oh, yes.
And he really pioneered in so many ways like world-class service. And he said that leadership is creating an environment where the people, the employees, the team, right, feel a part of, meaning they feel connected to the organization, okay, to the mission.
Yeah.
And so it is very much like whether you're charismatic or not as a leader, whether you are introverted or extroverted, whether you're an Enneagram 8 or a 3, or you don't care about any of it, right? At the end of the day, it is your job to make people feel like they're a part of something, to bring them together, to sit down with them in the Monday morning meeting.
Yeah.
I was totally taken back by the fact that you opened up in prayer. I hope you don't mind me just like blurting that out, because I'm like, man, this is important to Sten.
Yeah.
That's important to you. That is a part of who you are.
Yeah.
And the fact that you would open it up and invite people into that, you would ask other members of the team to pray.
Yeah.
I'll never forget you asking me to pray.
Yeah.
You're like, Wendell, you pray for us today. I was like, okay, this is such a small thing, but
and
you are
didn't
setting
do the Talladega Nights prayer.
No, I was
Caught him
tempted.
off guard. Yeah,
I was tempted. I was tempted.
A great first impression.
I was tempted. Or the Christopher Walken in Catch Me If You Can, or Leo actually takes his speech, right, and he's like, "Oh, there was 2 mice in a bucket of cream." I mean, there's all these, meet the parents. That prayer came to mind too.
Great. Yes.
And so, the fact that and we're doing it now, we're cutting up, we both love movies.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's an important piece here, is figure out what do you have in common with the people that you're working with?
Yeah.
With your boss, that you're not exactly sure like what they're about, and your personalities are really different. Fantastic. Make it a fun game for you to go and figure out what makes them tick. What are they passionate about? What are they into? And the best way to do that is to jump into a project with them, right? Like actually jump in and do the work.
Yeah.
Early on, I was sitting across from you in the conference room, and you're like, "Hey, what do you know about assessments?" I was like, "A lot, actually." You're like, "Fantastic. Let's build an assessment for communication."
Yeah.
And because we jumped in and did that then turned into the other assessments that built out the resist framework and the overcoming resistance video course that now advisors can go through.
Yeah.
All because we started with, here's one project that we can work on. And so it's amazing what happens. Like if you really can look at it like dominoes, that first domino, when it falls, can actually create such a beautiful momentum.
Sure.
But you got to get in the mix. It's easy to sit on the sidelines and criticize.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's easy to be critical, right? It's easy to be judgmental. It's easy to just kind of question and pontificate, but it requires a whole other set of muscles and even belief to jump into the mix and take some swings, recognizing that not all of this is going to actually turn out. Like I'm going to work on stuff that isn't going to see the light of day.
Exactly.
That was something I had to work through. Okay. I would go bust my butt on working on something, bring it to you. And you're like, yeah, no. I'm like, really?
Yes.
You're like, no, that's not. So as I got to know you, and as I got to know your work and your value system and what you consider to be standard, it's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
Also, all of that work that I did, you weren't saying to me in that moment, everything that you did doesn't matter.
That's right.
That's not at all what you were saying. You are looking out for, at the end of the day, like you are the brand. Okay. So whatever goes out there can reflect either positively, all right, or very negatively on you. And so the fact that you're thinking about that is a good thing.
Yeah.
You want to work with people that actually think about that, as opposed to being like, yeah, sure, whatever, put it out there.
Yeah.
It's like, no. So it's good to have standards.
That's true. I agree. And I do think there's a responsibility to communicate those standards versus having people guess.
Yeah.
And something I'm reflecting on and wanting to do better as we end this year and have make time for every team member and trying to preface going into those meetings that, hey, here's the point of this meeting.
Yeah.
I need you to bring something. putting people in a situation not to where they have to, public speak necessarily, but it's like, hey, I want you to take some ownership in this. I've learned to tendencies and feedback from others. If left to myself, the confidence I speak with at times can make things seem like, oh, that's what's happening. Like there's no room for feedback here. And if I could command a room and other people in the room are like, I'll just defer to Sten naturally, how do I circumvent that? Meaning, how do I not start every meeting? How do I not take control of every room? And there's some element you mentioned the other day, like what if someone else led the team meeting? And what if they brought something? I know that's probably not going to go perfect. I know not everyone on the team is going to like do it right away.
Yep.
But if we can communicate the standard to say, hey, on this team, our goal here is for everybody to take ownership and stuff and overcome the discomfort where if your natural tendency is I'm going to kind of sink away in this room and just observe and then kind of check a box, you may be uncomfortable here to some degree. Not everybody has to go to hey, I want to lead part of the event we put on. But as a leader, can I communicate, especially going into next year, better expectations and the framework of here's who we are and here's why we're this way. And that's going to require you to participate. And so one thing, I know we've talked about this, is going into my team meetings with each individual, creating this, I want to give everybody time, is the question is, how can the company help you? Like what can working here help you accomplish personally, professionally? But at the same time, we also have to say, how can you best help the company?
Yeah.
And I do think there's a natural tendency of like, how can I get something out of this? I think there's something in all of us. It's like, how can I get paid as much as possible with the least amount of work? I think for some of us, that's a much smaller voice. And for some people, I think that's just the way they approach the world. And I'm trying to coach some people through that. Like, hey, next time you come to me, this is just my personality, and ask for more money, here's maybe a better way to do it. Like, come to me with a business plan that is like, hey, if I do X, Y, and Z and help the company accomplish this, can I get paid this?
Yeah.
Instead of, hey, I've been working really hard, I want more money. And you're like, wait, based on what? And so I think it's not, I don't take 100% responsibility. When I'm interviewing people now, I ask this question. If this pie chart, I'll get on the whiteboard, represents 100% of what is necessary for you to thrive in this role, for you to accomplish more than you think you can, what percentage of this pie is your responsibility and what is mine?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it needs to be 100% them because I need to contribute. I need to lead well. I need to show up. I need to make strategic investments. But I'm like, it's probably 80% you. I think that mindset of the Business Made Simple book is a great example of like, think of yourself as an entrepreneur. Not everyone is an entrepreneur where they're going to mortgage their house and put their name on the wall and risk it all. But man, as a leader and a business owner, it is sure nice when people show up and they're like, no, I'm here. Like the company matters. I'm not just here just for myself. And it does take a lot of awareness, I think, to slow down and prepare for meetings better. What questions am I going to ask? And it just comes back to that self-awareness piece. So for me, one of my biggest lessons for this series, I'm glad I'm more aware. I'm getting feedback from people that that's the case. It's made me a little more approachable, which I'm thankful for. I have not lost my edge fully, which I was scared of. Like, wait, am I going to get soft? Am I going to not be as intense? And if I do too much therapy, and it's like, no, it can be both. Like, you can be really aware, but man, you could still bring it.
Yep.
But now can I take the awareness piece and translate that into a framework that other people can understand? To where I'm passing along, hey, I've learned this about myself. Hey, when you interact with me, hey, here's something that I've learned works. And then hopefully that'll be reciprocated to where they're like, hey, I've actually learned this about myself. And so
that's good.
For everyone listening, I think as a leader, you are called to inspire people, to encourage them, to challenge them, but it is not on you. And there's a line, sometimes to change your people, you change your people. And I went through a season where it's like, oh, I'm leveling up, I'm becoming more aware, and I'm realizing other people don't want to come with me, which is frightening because you're like, oh, what is that going to mean? And at times, leaving something unhealthy behind that is known is still hard. When I don't want to be in this place, but what's coming next? What is that going to require of me? And I'll tell you, coming out the other side of it, in a healthier team with healthier people that are willing to sit in friction, that consider the company and consider each other, is so good. Not everybody can have that overnight. And I didn't have it for years, and my company was still successful. We were making money. I didn't enjoy it as much though. And I have a lot more fun at work right now. And yes, we do a great job and we're profitable, but man, we also get to work on some really fun projects, and we get to do some stuff that other people just maybe don't have the risk tolerance to do. Because to your point, it may not work.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, that's the truth. That's the truth. So when you look to next year, 2026, I can't believe it's almost here. Man, what's the thing you're just kind of getting fired up about right now, Sten?
I think for years it was, I want to double my book of business. Like I just want growth on the advisory side. I've learned there's only so many clients I can serve really well. And then we need to add talent to the team. And so for next year, we want to grow our ability to deliver great financial advice. And that doesn't mean how can Sten have more clients. It's who can I help bring up and assist in being successful. So I'm more motivated now by seeing other people achieve more than they thought they could than me increasing my personal income more. I am more excited about some of the stuff we're working on, which is, behind the curtain stuff. That when we launch it, people are going to be, where in the world did this come from? We're writing a book right now. And so I think the high impact projects that it's like, we're going to create this thing and not just help one person, but this could help 1,000 people. And those are riskier. And I don't think they'll make us money on day one, but I think there are things you sit back in 10 years from now and people are just like, I don't know what the world would be like without it. And I think that's a bigger way of thinking that I've had in the past. When my first stretch of career was like, man, I just want to make enough money for myself. I want to have a profitable business. I don't want to be scared of not paying my bills. And I think the good news about creating the business, putting your head down and building that, I think it then affords you the right and the time and the finances to say, I'm going to go try some stuff. I'm going to take some risks, but I'm not jeopardizing what I have here. And so I'm thankful in hindsight that I had these seasons of like just putting my head down and working to create something great. And then building in the systems to free me up a little bit to try some new stuff. And so, for everybody watching, stay tuned. We're working on some cool projects, but I'm thankful for you, man. Like I love what you bring to the team as a person. I know we were in Austin once. We got trapped in a Waymo together. They got stuck in a parking lot, which is hilarious.
Cue that Waymo footage right there.
Exactly. We're both foodies. We love movies. So
thank you.
Yeah, I'm thankful for you. And I'm thankful that you stick in there with me and appreciate my personality for all it is.
Yes, most definitely. All of the side comments and jokes and the movie references, and man, thank you for entrusting your vision and your work. I mean, in so many ways, like, right, this is a child that you have brought up into this world. Right. It's a big deal. When you invite other people into that dynamic and relationship, that is not a small thing. I mean, it's a huge responsibility. And so I'm grateful. It's a gift. I mean, I get a really cool seat in this whole theater experience, front and center. But what's really cool is I'm not just observing. I get to jump in and I get to be a part of it. And it is rewarding and it is really awesome. And there are we do get scars.
That's right.
Right? But to quote Bob Goff in Love Does, right? The things that happen to us can either shape us or scar us. And so it is a choice that we make.
That's true.
What is the choice that we're making right now, today?
Yeah, I think what I know is I don't want to do it alone. I think it'd be safer to try to do it alone. It'd be more predictable if you can control everything. But I know you don't reach your potential without a team.
That's right.
So for all the things I feel inside that have come from my past, when certain things haven't worked out, it's like it's still worth the risk to I think to link arms with people for whatever season that is. I've also learned it's like when you work with somebody, you may not be working together when you're 90. And that doesn't mean anything was wrong. It's like the seasons of it, and you appreciate it when it's there. And so holding that loosely, but also in the moment, just enjoying the ride.
This was fun, Sten.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.